Well, here we are about to start our second trek on the Cape to Cape, that is. Last year, November, we did it north to south. Today we're going to start south to north, and as you can see and probably hear, it's a pretty blustery day, so it's going to be reasonably tough. We've got 17 kilometres to go to Deepdene. Thankfully that'll be fairly calm when we get there. It's down in a hollow. It's a very small campsite though, probably only room for about 6 tents, so hopefully by the time we get there it's not going to be too well occupied. But yeah, it's going to be a fairly arduous day today, but at least the wind is coming from behind us and it's pretty strong at the moment, probably about 25-30 kilometres an hour and fairly gusty, but hopefully we'll get through it okay. We've just come walking along the base of that cliff and it's quite treacherous. It's not high tide, but the rocks, the granite, incredibly slippery. So I think we're still going to have a little bit more of it as we continue along before we can sort of get off the very beach line here. You can see Jude perhaps way up in the distance, but it is very, very treacherous. You really got to watch your footing. But as you can see, it's been raining pretty heavily. A lot of it's dripping off the trees on us at the moment, but we've now come up a pretty short, sharp incline off the beach and back into a more heavily wooded area. But again, you can see just how much rain has fallen in the last couple of hours whilst we've been out on the track. It's just started to ease as far as the rain is concerned. It's been raining fairly heavily for the last 3 hours pretty much since we walked out of Augusta. Jude's just making some cuppa soup here as we've got a little bit of respite from the very strong southwesterly wind just behind this cliff face here. But at the top of one of the sand dunes you almost get blown sideways. The wind was so strong, but hopefully the rain is behind us and that's the nice soft beach sound.
So I just had a hissy fit because I've got wet feet and I'm not happy because they're supposed to be Gore-Tex and I've got gaiters on, which means I shouldn't get wet feet, and I did. Yeah, well mine are worse, but how's the soup? Oh, the soup's lovely. Pacifying you? Yes, it's very good. Excellent. I like the soup. So drink up because you're going to need the energy. That's where we're off to next. Oh, all it is endless and endless walking in the wind. The rain's still falling, not as heavy, but just splattering all over the back of the backpack. Luckily it's got a rain cover on it. Closing in on the turn to Deepdene, just got to get past Turner's Brook, and then about a K past that we swing right over the sand dunes and then it's down into a bit of a valley. Hopefully there'll be some campsites there. It's very, very small. Fingers crossed. Down in that gully, the wind isn't going to be anywhere near as bad as it's been throughout the day. Some way, shape or form, it's been raining from virtually the time we stepped onto the track near the lighthouse in Augusta at about 8:30 this morning. And the wind has not abated one iota throughout the day. safe to say, a lot of fun. Made the turn off the beach and heading inland now to the Deepdene campsite. Unfortunately, there's a few undulations to get there. Now, what's on the menu tonight, Judith?
Spaghetti bolognese with angel hair spaghetti.
Beautiful.
Which is here.
We've already had crackers and peanut butter, as we call it. Oh, lovely. Now, how did you find the experience today? In a truthful fashion.
It was fine until you started whinging.
Oh, thank you very much.
No. Hey, look, it's testing. When
Yeah.
you get cold and wet and your feet and your shoes leak, I'm not happy with my shoes.
No, that's a bit of a disappointment. Mine too. I think we were
happy.
told they were Gore-Tex, but it was just steady drizzle all day today. But tomorrow, a short day. Now, what is this over here? This is some sort of contraption you've...
This is my poncho tarp. So this is the Cedar Summit Ultra Seal poncho tarp, which means it's my raincoat. So it's what I wear when it rains, but also it can make up a shelter. And the only reason it's up low like this is because there's no trees, but also I can then just hang clothes underneath to dry it.
Excellent. A job well done indeed.
I forgot to bring the garnish.
The garnish,
sprinkle on the top.
Yeah, it's not plated overly well, but it tastes nice.
Just 1 out of 10 for presentation?
1 out of 10 for presentation, 9 out of 10 for taste, and it'll be 10 out of 10 tomorrow after we leave it in our bowls for lunch before we leave. Another culinary delight. Pretty much the standard setup here at Deepdene that you see around the place, the drop toilet, and also of course a couple of water tanks around here. Still need to put your filtration tablets in just to make sure that everything is a-okay in regard to bugs and the likes. Yeah, it's pretty much what you see anywhere along the way, in particular sort of setup that you have wherever you're out on the Bibbulmun, let alone on the Cape to Cape. And of course, you can even have some spare toilet rolls that have been very kindly left. Already secure in the tent, 6:45 in the evening after our first day. Certainly a challenging one, there's no doubt about that. The wind at times was a little bit scary heading along the edge of the cliffs, but once again Jude's prepared a terrific dinner, and once again has provided me with a lot of guidance. Still a bit of a newbie in regard to doing all this sort of stuff, but hopefully down in the hollow here we're going to have a reasonably quiet night. Might get a little bit more rain, but the forecast for tomorrow is pretty good. So we shall bid you farewell from Deepdene after day one of our adventure, heading south to north here on the Cape to Cape. As you can no doubt hear, a fair bit of rain on the tent roof at the moment. It's been fairly calm for quite some time. It's now about 12:15 in the morning, and all of a sudden the heavens have opened up. It's eased off a little bit now, but it's wonderful to be inside a nice warm tent. There's no doubt about that. Something quite special hearing the rain pitter-patter, sometimes a bit heavier than a pitter-patter on the roof of your tent. Makes sleeping a little bit harder, but it's certainly a beautiful rhythmical noise. And as I said, it's nice to know that you're beautiful and warm.